Assalamu alaikum everyone. So today we are going to attempt O levels chemistry 5070 paper 1 variant 1. It's May June 2024. Let's start with question number 1. A scientist heats a sample of a liquid. The scientist measures the temperature of the sample and plots a graph of the temperature against time. Which statement are correct? Okay. So it's a liquid. So if we try to work on it. So if it's a liquid, so it stays liquid from W to X, and from X, this temperature would be the melting point, and between X and Y, it stays liquid and gas both, and from Y to Z, it goes. It turns after Y, it turns gas and stays as gas till Z. Okay. So point 1, between points W and X, the temperature increases and the particles moves faster. Yes, it seems correct. Between point X and Y, there is no change in temperature because energy is needed to change a liquid into a gas. Yes, point 1 seems correct, point 2 seems correct. That's what happening because when this is a liquid and liquid is changing into a gas, there is no change in temperature. The temperature stays constant. Now point 3, between points Y and Z, the particles move further apart. Yes, because it becomes gas, so the particles moves further apart. So all 3 points are correct, so it means it's A. So B, C, and D goes wrong, and the correct answer is A. Okay. Now, MCQ number 2. A sample of substance X contains iron and sulfur only. Okay. We are provided with the AR of iron and sulfur. In which row is it possible for both statements about X to be correct? Okay, X has both iron and sulfur. Okay. So statement 1, X is a mixture with the ratio of 4:7 by iron and sulfur. X is a compound with the ratio of 4:7 by mass of iron. Okay, so basically, for a mixture, there can be any ratio. So this seems correct, but for example, if they are saying that iron to sulfur, the ratio is 4:7 is in the compound, so we have to check. For example, iron has +2 oxidation number or +3 oxidation number, and the sulfur has -2 oxidation number. So either the compound of iron is going to be FeS or it is going to be Fe2S3, right? So in FeS, if iron is 56 and sulfur is 32, so can we simplify it? So it is going to be 16 and it is going to be 28. Then it is going to be 8 and it is going to be 14. Then it is going to be 4. Then it is going to be 7. So it is going to be 7:4, not 4:7. So statement 2 is wrong. Is this understandable? Over here, it is going to be twice of 56 is to thrice of 32. So again, if you simplify it, so it is going to be twice of 7 is going to be 14. because when you simplify 56 and 32, it will end up to 7 and 4. So 2 times 7 is 14 and 3 times 4 is 12. So further, if you simplify it, so it is going to be 6 and 7. So it is also going to be 7 is to 6. So that is wrong. So statement 2 is wrong. Okay. So A goes wrong. Now, if you just read this statement, X is a mixture with the formula of FES. So mixture doesn't have a formula, right? So C goes wrong. X is a mixture with the formula FeSO4. So FeSO4 is a compound, not a mixture. So these two are wrong. X is a mixture with a ratio of 7 is to 4 of mass of iron and sulfur. Yes, as I have told you that in the mixture, the element can be in any ratio. X is a compound with the ratio of 7 is to 4 mass of by mass of iron and sulfur, and that's what we have proved. So yeah, second statement is correct as well. So B is the correct answer. I hope it's understandable to all of you. Now, MCQ number 3. A chlorine atom Z has a nucleon number of 37, which row is correct? Okay. So if we go for a chlorine, so nucleon number is 12. Basically, chlorine has a 17 atomic number and nucleon number is 37. So if nucleon number is 37, so there are 17 protons. Electrons are going to be 17 and neutrons are going to be 37 minus 17, which is going to be 20. Okay. The number of neutrons in Z. So number of neutrons are 20, not 17. So A and B are wrong. The number of electrons in the second shell of Z. So if it has a 17 electrons, so if I write its electronic configuration, so it is going to be 2 in the first shell, 8 in the second shell, 10, and then 7 in the third shell. So second shell has 8 electrons. So this is correct and this is wrong. So C goes wrong and D is the correct answer. Now, MCQ number 4. Which particles are isotopes of the same element? To be a isotope, the protons must be of same. So these two has same protons and these two has same protons. Now, if you see their electrons, so it means these two are not atoms, right? These are the positively charged ions. And their neutrons are same, indicating same isotope, not different isotope. So it means W and X. So here is a W, here is a W, here is a X. So these three goes wrong. It means D is the correct answer. Y and Z, because C, Y, and Z, different neutrons, same protons, and same electrons. So yeah, Y and Z are isotopes. Now, MCQ number 5. Statement about graphite and silicon 4 oxide are given. Which statement is correct? Okay. Silicon 4 oxide is found as an impurity in iron ore. Yes, it is. That's what we studied in the iron extraction of iron. So it seems correct. The angles between the atom and silicon 4 oxide and graphite are same. No. Silicon 4 oxide and diamond are actually same. So with the graphite, it's not same. B goes wrong. The melting point of silicon oxide and graphite are high because ionic. No ionic bonds. They both have a covalent bonds. When graphite acts as a lubricant, the covalent bonds between the layers are broken. There are no covalent bond between the layers. There are forces of attraction or intermolecular forces or weak van der Waals forces between the layers. So D goes wrong as well. Hence A is the correct answer. Now, MCQ number 6. The statement about empirical and molecular formula are given. Okay. Which statement is correct? The empirical and molecular formula of a compound are always different. No, it's not necessary. They are not always different. For example, if I take the example of CO2, its empirical and molecular formula both are going to be same. So A goes wrong. Okay. The empirical formula of ethyne and benzene are going to be same. So what is the empirical formula of ethyne? It is going to be CH, right? What is the empirical formula of C6H6 benzene? It is also going to be CH. Yes, it seems correct. The molecular formula always shows the simplest whole number ratio. No, it does not shows the, it shows the actual number of atoms of each element, not the simplest whole number ratio. The empirical formula always shows the number and types of different atoms, and no, it shows the simplest ratio. So C and D goes wrong, and B is the correct answer. I hope till here it's clear. Now MCQ number 7. What is the relative formula mass MR of aluminum oxide? So if you recall the formula of aluminum oxide, it's Al2O3. So aluminum is 27, so 2 times 27 plus oxygen's AR is 16, so 3 times 16. So 2 times 27 is going to be 54, and 3 times 16 is going to be 48. On adding these two, we are going to get
102.
102. Yeah, 102. Very good, Abdullah. So it's C. It means A, B, and D are wrong, and C is the correct answer. Now, MCQ number 8. How many ions are there in 16 gram of anhydrous copper sulfate? Okay. So if you go for a formula of copper sulfate, it's CuSO4. So it is going to produce a copper ion and a sulfate ion, right? So it means one copper sulfate gives you 1 mole of copper sulfate gives you 2 ions, right? Okay. So what is the MR of copper sulfate? Uh, it's what is the AR of copper? It's 64 and sulfate is 96. So CuSO4. So Cu is 64 plus SO4, S is 32, and 4 oxygen is 64 again. So 64 and 64, 128, 128 plus 2 is 130, 130 and 30 is 160. Is it 160? Can anyone confirm me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if I go for a moles, how can I calculate the moles? It's 16 over 160. So it is going to be 0.1 mole. So 0.1 mole is going to produce 0.2 ions. So 1 mole has 6.02 exponent 23 ions. So if there are 0.2 ions, so 0.2 is going to be 6.02 exponent 23. So can anyone multiply it and tell me the answer?
1.204 into 10 raised to the 23.
1.204 into 10 raised to the power 23. 1.204 into 10 raised to the power 23. So it is going to be A. It means B, C, and D goes wrong. And A is the correct answer. I hope it's clear to all of you. Now, which sample contains the most atoms? Most atoms, the one having the most moles of atoms. So 0.5 mole water has H2O. So zero point 0.5 in H2O, there are 3 atoms. 0.3 times 3 is going to give me 1.5 moles atoms. 1.0 mole of carbon dioxide. It also has a 3 atoms. So 1.0 times 3 gives me 3.0 moles of atoms. So it has a greater moles. It means A goes wrong. Now, 1.0 mole methane. How many atoms are there in methane? 5 atoms are there, right? So 1 times 5 gives me 5 moles of atoms. So this one has a greater than the atoms than the carbon dioxide greater. So B goes wrong. Now, 2 moles of HCl. In HCl, there are 2 atoms. So 2 moles times 2 is going to 4 moles of atoms. So it still has lesser number of moles. So D goes wrong. And hence C is the correct answer. Is this clear to all of you? Now, MCQ number 10. The reaction shown all the produce hydrogen. The reactions shown all produce hydrogen. Okay. Which reaction produces the greatest volume of hydrogen measured at room temperature and pressure? So the one produces greatest moles is going to produce greatest moles of volume of hydrogen. So 1.4 gram carbon reacts with excess steam. Okay. So the mole ratio of carbon and hydrogen is going to be 1:1. So 1.4 divided by 12 give me the moles of carbon dioxide. Can anyone calculate it? Calcium is 40 and 2 hydrogen, so 42.
Sir, 0.12.
0.12. So 0.12 moles of hydrogen because the ratio is 1:1. Is this understandable to all of you? Now, in this case, 2.4 grams. And if you look at the mole ratio, it is 1:2. So the MR of calcium is going to be 40 plus 2, which is 42. So moles are equals to 2.4 over 42. Can anyone tell me the value? Yes, 2.4 divided by 42.
0.057.
0.057. So these are the moles of calcium hydride, right? These are the moles of, and 1 mole of calcium hydride is producing 2 moles of hydrogen. So to calculate the moles of hydrogen, multiply it 2. So if you multiply it with 2, it is going to be
0.114.
0.114. So it is producing lesser moles of hydrogen than the first one, right? Still, the first one is producing more moles. So B goes wrong. Is this clear? Now, 4 gram of calcium reacts with, okay, so the ratio of calcium and hydrogen is 1:1. So 4 divided by 40 is going to produce 0.1 moles. So these are the moles of hydrogen as well because the ratio is 1:1. So again, we are getting lesser moles than 0.12. So C goes wrong. 50 centimeter cube of 0.2 mole of sulfuric acid. Okay. So the ratio of mole of sulfuric acid and hydrogen is going to be 1:1. So if we go for a mole of sulfuric acid, it is going to be 2.0 divided by 0.05. Okay.
0.1.
0.1.
Yes, sir. Again.
So again, the number of moles of hydrogen are lesser than 0.12. So D goes wrong. It means A is the correct answer. I hope till here it's clear to all of you. Okay. Now MCQ number 11. 4 solutions of sodium hydroxide are made by dissolving solid sodium hydroxide in distilled water. Which method makes a solution with a concentration of 0.1 mole per dm cube? Okay, so we have to calculate the concentration. The MR of sodium hydroxide is 40. Okay, so to calculate the concentration, what we are going to do, moles divided by volume. So moles can be calculated by uh, mass over moles. Moles can be calculated by mass over MR, right? So 1.6 divided by 40 will give you the MR, and this whole thing uh, divided by 400 centimeter cube. So this whole thing divided by 0.4 will give you the concentration. In the second case, 3.2 divided by 40, then divided by 0.250 will give you the concentration. In the third case, 4 divided by 40 and then divided by 0.1 is going to give you the concentration. And in the third case, 8 divided by 40, then the whole thing divided by 0.5. I think in this you are going to get the greater value. It's going to be 0.1 and 0.1 and 0.1 is going to be 0.01. Okay, it is giving you 0.01. Okay, can anyone calculate and tell me where you are getting 0.10? Yes, in the first case, what value you are getting?
0.1.
0.1.
0.1. Okay, so it means that is the correct answer. So B, C, and D goes wrong, and A is the correct answer. Now, MCQ number 12. Which row shows the substance that can be electrolyzed? Okay. So we have to look for all the substances which can electrolyze. Yeah, aqueous sodium chloride does electrolyze, so that's why C and D goes wrong. Copper doesn't electrolyze, right? So this seems correct. The A goes wrong, so it means we are left with only option B. So B is the correct answer. Okay. Now, MCQ number 13, the apparatus shown is set up to electroplate a steel key with the copper. Okay. The key does not get coated with the copper. Okay. Which changes need to be made to the electroplate? So the thing which we have to plate to the electrolyte we may need to be electroplated is going to be put it on the negative terminal, isn't it? So key must be placed over here and this copper rod must be connected over here. Increasing concentration makes it wrong. Increase the electric current makes it wrong. Replace the solution with dilute sulfuric acid makes it wrong. So all three are wrong. So it means D is correct. See, reverse the electrical connection. So when we reverse the electrical connection, then this will become negative and this will become positive. So no need to switch the key or the copper. So yeah, the key starts to electroplate. Now, MCQ number 14, ammonium nitrate dissolves in water. Okay. Which statements are correct? The process is endothermic. Is the enthalpy change is positive? Yes, it is. The water gets colder during the reaction. The energy is being absorbed, right? So yes, when the energy is absorbed, the temperature goes down, so the water gets colder. That is correct. Thermal energy is absorbed by ammonium nitrate from water. Yes, it is correct as well. So all three are correct. It means B, C, and D goes wrong, and our correct answer is A. Now, MCQ number 15. Hydrogen reacts with oxygen to produce water. Some bond energies are given using the data in the table. What is the enthalpy change of the reaction? Okay. So this is bond breaking, and we have to do it times 2, right? This is
872.
also 872. Thank you. This is also bond breaking, and we have to keep it times 1 because there are 1 mole, right? So 496. And this is bond forming or bond making, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 of them, so it's times 4. Yes, what would be the
185.
value? 1, 8,
8552.
5, 2. Okay. So the enthalpy change is equals to bond breaking minus bond making. So bond breaking has 872 and 496. If you add them,
1368.
1368 minus bond making is 1852.
Minus 484.
1852 minus 484. So that is C. It means A, B, and D goes wrong. And C is the correct answer. I hope till here it's clear to all of you. Now, MCQ number 16, silicon 4 chloride SiCl4 boils at 58 degrees Celsius, which shows the type of change when silicon 4 chloride boils and the explanation. Okay, so the change is not chemical when it boils. The change is physical, right? So it means A and B goes wrong. Intermolecular forces are break. Yes, silicon chloride bond are break. Bonds break. No, not at all. It stays SiCl4, right? So D goes wrong. It means C is the correct answer. Now, MCQ number 17. A 2-gram sample of calcium carbonate reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid and as shown. Okay, we have a chemical equation. What change in condition makes the reaction proceed more slowly? Okay, so rate of reaction. Okay. Increasing the acid concentration. If we can increase the concentration, the reaction proceeds faster. A goes wrong. Increasing the size of solid particles. Yes, the size. If we increase the particle size, the surface area lowers and the rate lowers. So that can be an answer. Increasing surface area. If we increase the surface area, the reaction rate increases. So C goes wrong. Increasing the temperature, the particles has more energy. So D goes wrong. So yes, B is the correct answer because increasing the size lowers the surface area. Okay. Now, MCQ number 18. Excess aluminium reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid. The hydrogen given off is collected in a gas syringe. The total volume of hydrogen in the gas syringe is recorded every 2 minutes. The result of this experiment are shown. Okay. Which statement is correct? Excess aluminium is reacted. Okay. So if the aluminium is in excess, so it doesn't matter how much mass of aluminium is added. So it doesn't mean whether it's 0.107 or 0.109 or zero point 0.2. It doesn't make any difference. So E goes wrong. The mass of aluminium added cannot be determined from the information given. Yes, that is correct thing. We can't determine because we don't know the how much excess it is, right? It is already in excess, so we can't calculate how much of the aluminium has been added. If it is in a perfect ratio, then we can calculate it. The highest rate of reaction is 71.5 per minute. 71.5 centimeter cube per minute. You see, that is not correct because over here, there is a 50 centimeter cube of gas collected in 2 minutes. Then over here, 50 centimeter cube of gas is collected in 2 minutes. Then over here, it's around 28 centimeter cube of gas is collected in 2 minutes. So the highest, this time the reaction is highest. So if it 50 divided by 2, we will get 25 centimeter cube per minute. So C goes wrong. Then the highest rate of reaction is when the acid concentration is the highest. So acid concentration is highest over here, right? Or actually the acid concentration remains the constant. It doesn't have goes, so D goes wrong as well. So the correct answer over here is B. Is this clear? That how much aluminum is added because it's an excess, so we can't calculate how much actually the aluminum is added, right? Okay. Now, MCQ number 19, 157.75 gram of bismuth chloride is used to make 500 centimeter cube of solution using distilled water. Okay. The aqueous bismuth 3 chloride slowly becomes cloudy as it reacts with water to form insoluble BiUCl. The reaction is reversible. Which statements are correct? Okay. So the initial concentration of bismuth 3 chloride solution is 1 mole per dm cube. Okay. So we can calculate the MR. So the MR of BiCl3 is going to be 209 plus 3 times 35.5. Can anyone calculate it? We will get the moles. Yes. So it is going to be 71 and 71, 106. So 106 and 209. Is it 30? Is the MR is 315.5?
Yes, sir. I'm getting 315.5.
315.5. So moles would be equals to 157.75 divided by 315.5. Can you tell me the answer, please?
0.5. Almost.
0.5. Okay. So the concentration would be 0.5 divided by volume in dm cube. So that is 500, which converted into it's 1 mole per dm cube. So first statement seems correct, right? At equilibrium, the rate of forward reaction equals the rate of reverse reaction. Yes, second statement is correct. Okay. So see, over here, there is no first statement, so D goes wrong. Over here, there is no second statement, so C goes wrong. When more hydrochloric is added, the position of equilibrium moves to the left. Okay, so here is hydrochloric acid. So if I increase the concentration of hydrochloric acid, the equilibrium moves to the left. So the third statement is correct. And over here, there is no third statement. So all three are correct. It means A is the correct answer. Is this clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Now, MCQ number 20. The flow chart shows some of the processes and the reactions in the formation of ammonia. Okay. What are the name of process X, substance 1 and substance 2? Okay. Process X would be the cracking, because hydrogen can be obtained from cracking of hydrocarbons. So C and D goes wrong. I hope it's clear. So it's a memory base. So substance 1 would be the long chains. Alkanes, not alkenes. So B goes wrong. So it means we are only left with the option A. So option A is correct. Now, MCQ number 21. Many reactions involve oxidation and reduction. Which statement is correct? Okay. Acidified magnate 7 ions changes color from colorless to purple. No, it goes from purple to colorless. So A goes wrong. All reactions that involve oxidation also involve reduction. Yes, that is. The oxidation and reduction occur simultaneously. During a reaction, oxidizing agent loses electron. Oxidizing agent is the one which let the other substance oxidize. So itself undergo oxidation. So it doesn't lose the electron, it gains the electron. So C goes wrong. Reduction is the loss of hydrogen from a compound. Basically, it's a gain of hydrogen from a compound. Gain, not loss. So D is wrong. It means the only B is left and B is the correct answer. Now, MCQ number 22. The equation for a reaction is shown. Which statement about this reaction is correct? Okay. Bromide ions are the oxidizing agent. So bromide is going from -1 to 0. It means it is being oxidized. So if it's an oxidized, so it's a reducing agent, not oxidizing. So A goes wrong. Bromine is the reducing agent. The reaction is not reversible. So bromine is the product, not a reducing agent. Can you guys just give me a minute, please? Okay. Am I audible to all of you? So bromine is the reducing agent that we
Yes, sir.
found. Chloride ions are the reducing agent. So chloride is again the product. Chlorine is the oxidizing agent. So if you see Cl is going from 0 to -1, right? So it means it is undergoing reduction as its oxidation number is decreased. So yeah, it's an oxidizing agent. So D is the correct option. So D is correct. MCQ number 22, we are done. Okay. Now, MCQ number 23, which row describes both the pH and the ion with the greatest concentration in an aqueous alkali. Okay. pH greater than 7? No. If the pH greater than 7, hydroxide ions are greater. pH less than 7, hydrogen ions are greater. Okay. But they are asking for alkali. So alkali doesn't has a pH less than 7. So C goes wrong and D goes wrong. B and B were correct on the basis of pH, but on the basis of ions, the OH ion is the one which is present in alkali in the greater amount than hydrogen ion. So B is correct answer. I hope till here it's clear. Now MCQ number 24. The water in a lake is acidic and the fish are dying. The water in the lake needs to be neutralized so that the pH is close to 7. Which compound is added in excess to neutralize the water in the lake? Okay. So water in the lake is acidic. So if it's an acidic, so we are not going to add any acid. So B goes wrong, right? Compound that is in excess to neutralize the water in the lake. Okay. So carbonate and nitrate. Nitrate is just a salt. Carbonate is also a salt. So only we can add potassium hydroxide. But adding excess potassium hydroxide makes the pH greater than 7. Yeah, so we can't made it. So we are left with only calcium carbonate because the carbonate with the carbonate, if it goes in excess, it doesn't affect the pH, right? Only the one which reacts with the acid neutralizes the acid and left of the carbonate remains as carbonate. So there is no increase in pH because no hydroxide ions are being added. But over here we are completely adding the hydroxide ion, so pH goes greater than 7 and we need a neutral pH which is 7. So B, C, and D are wrong and A is the correct answer. Now, MCQ number 25, which pair of reagent is used in a school laboratory to prepare a sample of pure barium sulfate? So barium sulfate, if you recall, it's an insoluble salt. So we go for a precipitation method, which can be prepared from two aqueous solutions. Okay. So barium carbonate, not insoluble. So A and B goes wrong. Barium chloride, barium hydroxide, both are soluble. So, but this is both acid and alkali. And in C, we have a salt. So in precipitation, we always use a salt. So D goes wrong and C is the correct answer. Because to make a insoluble salt, we need a one aqueous salt at least in the reactant. And over here, we have just acid and base. So it is going to go for a titration method, and from titration, we can't go for a to produce a barium sulfate. So 25C is the correct answer. Now MCQ number 26. The total number of electrons in one atom of element Q is 17 and in one atom of element R is 19. Which statement about element Q and R is correct? Okay. So if it's 17, if I write its electronic configuration, so it is going to be 287 and it's 19. So 2, 8, 8, 18 and 119. So yeah, they can react together to form a not a covalent compound, but a ionic compound because it loses one electron, it gains one electron. So A goes wrong. Q forms a positive ion. No, it has a 7 electron, so it can gain electron, so it can form a negative ion. R has more outer shells electron than Q. Yes, it seems correct. R is more metallic than Q. Hmm. No, R has more outer shell. Okay. More outer shell electrons. Okay, I thought that more electron shell. So more outer shell, no. R has only one outer shell electron and Q has seven. So that it is going to have a less outer shell electron. So C is wrong. R is more metallic. Yes, because it has a one electron, so it's a metal, right? And Q has seven electrons, so it's a non-metal. So D is the correct answer. Now MCQ number 27. Which statement about group 7 noble gases are correct? Okay. They are unreactive. Yes. So D goes wrong. They all have a full outer shell of electrons. So second is statement is correct, and there is no second over here. So C goes wrong as well. Now they all are diatomic. Not at all. The group 8 noble gases are not diatomic because A contains 3. So B is the correct answer. Right? Now MCQ number 28. Iron has a high melting point. Which statement explains the high melting point of iron? Okay. Each iron cation has a strong electrostatic attraction to a sea of delocalized electron. Yes, that is. But it doesn't explain that it has a high melting point. The same thing can be observed in metals, in all the metals. So, yeah, okay. Just don't come to the conclusion, read the other statements before coming to the conclusion. In every iron atom, there is a strong attraction between protons and no, are no atoms. There are cations in the metallic lattice. So B goes wrong. Iron has the same structure as diamond, not at all. Iron doesn't has the same structure as diamond. Iron is an alloy. No. Okay. So see, if you see B, C, D, and are completely wrong. So yeah, that it means that it is explaining. Yeah, if we read each iron cation has a strong. So yeah, okay. So okay, strong electrostatic force of attraction. So if there are strong electrostatic force of attraction, then the melting point would be high. Now, MCQ number 29. Which statement about alloys is correct? Okay. Alloys are not electrical and thermal conductor, not at all. Alloys do conduct electricity, right? Because they are the mixture of metals and sometimes non-metal along with the metal. Alloy are softer than pure metal. No, the alloy are harder than non-metals. Oh, sorry. Alloy are harder than the pure metals. Brass is a mixture of copper with a small amount of no. Brass is a mixture of copper and zinc. So C goes wrong. You have to remember the composition of brass. Brass is made from copper and zinc. The percentage of each metal in alloy may vary. Yeah, it may vary. It always actually vary. So D is the correct answer. A, B, and C are wrong. Now MCQ number 30. The table shows the reaction of four metals P, Q, R, and S and their oxides. What is the order of reactivity from the most reactive to the least reactive? Okay. So if you see, S reacts with water rapidly, so it means S is going to be the most reactive. We are moving from most reactive to least reactive, so it means A and B goes wrong. And P reacts only with the steam, so P is going to be the lesser than S. Now, with the dilute acid, Q reacts slowly and R doesn't, so Q is going to be the next one and then the R. So D goes wrong and C is the correct answer. Now, MCQ number 31. Which reaction takes place during the extraction of aluminium from aluminium oxide using the carbon electrodes? Okay. So if you recall, this reaction occur at anode and this as well. They both occur at anode because when the oxygen forms, this oxygen involves, because of a high temperature, start reacting with the carbon electrode. Aluminum is not 2 positive, it's a 3 positive, so 3 goes wrong. And if 3 goes wrong, so it means A and D are wrong. And first two are correct, so it means C are wrong. C is wrong, so B is the correct answer for MCQ number 31. Okay. MCQ number 32. NPK fertilizers are used to improve plant growth. The solid nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium NPK fertilizer has the properties listed. Water soluble has an aqueous solution with a pH 7. Which substances are mixed to make the solid NPK fertilizers? Okay. Ammonium nitrate, potassium sulfate, phosphorus oxide. Actually, phosphorus oxide is a base and it has to be reacted with the acid and there is no acid in them. So for 32, A goes wrong. Ammonium phosphate, and again, it's a base and there is no acid. So B goes wrong. Ammonium sulfate, that is over here. These two are, but this is not. So first one is, second one is wrong. Ammonium sulfate, calcium nitrate. Are mixed to make NPK fertilizers. So ammonium nitrate and phosphate. So C, it doesn't contain either potassium, sodium, or nitrogen. So C goes wrong. Over here, you have a potassium, you have a nitrogen, you have a phosphorus. So all of these are there and there is a no base. So D is the correct answer. That is a NPK fertilizer can be formed by mixing these three. I hope till here it's clear. Now MCQ number 33. Alkenes are saturated compounds with containing carbon and hydrogen only. The structure 1, 2, 3, and 4 are saturated hydrocarbons. Which pair of structures are isomers? Okay. So it's really easy over here. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it has a 7 carbon. So it means 7 times 2 is 14, 14 plus 2 is 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So C6. And then if you count for hydrogens, there are 14 hydrogens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So C6H14. And over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So C6H12. So 3 is out of league. 1 is out of league. So it means second and fourth are isomers to each other. So 1, A, B, and D, C goes wrong, A, B, and C. And D is the correct answer. I hope till here it's clear. Now, MCQ number 34, which statement is correct? Any compound that contains both hydrogen and carbon is hydrocarbon. Yes, it is. But there is one thing missing. Contains both hydrogen and carbon only. It doesn't say only. So, okay, let's decide by reading the rest of them. Petroleum is a compound. No, petroleum is not a compound. So B is for sure wrong. The boiling point of hydrogen increases when the chain length increases. Yes, it is. So yeah, it's only is not. So it might have some other elements. So A goes wrong. The naphtha fraction obtained from petroleum is used for making roads. No, bitumen is used for making roads. So we have excluded or eliminated the three options and we are only left with option C. So C is the correct answer. Now MCQ number 35. Compound Q is a hydrocarbon that has no structural isomers. Compound Q does not decolorize bromine in the dark. What is compound Q? So if it does not decolorize bromine, so it means it doesn't has no C double bond C. So C3H6 has an alkene, C4H8 has an alkene. So we are left with C3H8 and C4H10. So it has only 3 carbons and it has only 4 carbons. So if there are 4 carbons, I can make a long chain and I can make a branch structure. So it do has a structural isomer and they are saying no structural isomer. So with the no structural isomer, there are 3 carbon chain has no structural isomer. So D goes wrong and B is the correct answer. Now MCQ number 36. Which equation represents the reaction of alkanes? Okay. So when methane reacts with a chlorine, one chlorine substituted and we get a HCl. And over here, one hydrogen gets substituted. So one is wrong. And if one is wrong, so and B goes wrong. So C2H6 reacts with 5 moles of oxygen, making carbon monoxide and water. Yes, that can be a possible incomplete combustion. C3H8 reacts with HCl. No, with HCl, no substitution occur. So 3 goes wrong. It means C is wrong. So with the incomplete combustion, we get the reaction 2. So D is the correct answer. MCQ number 37. Ethanol is produced using either ethene or glucose as the starting material. Which row is correct? Okay, let's see. Ethene, catalytic addition of steam, 300 and 6,000 kilopascal. Yes, it seems correct. But ethene, catalytic addition of steam at no 30 degrees Celsius, so B goes wrong. Glucose, no 135 degrees Celsius, so C goes wrong. Glucose 35 degrees Celsius in the presence of yeast and oxygen. Yeah, in the presence of yeast, but not in the presence of oxygen, so D goes wrong. So yes, our A option is correct. Now MCQ number 38. The diagram shows 4 pieces of apparatus that are used to measure the volume of liquid. Which piece of apparatus is always felt to be the same level? So that is only one which has only one point on the hole. So see over here, there is a scale. So it means it can be filled to any level. There is a scale filled to any level. There is a scale filled to any level. So C has only 1 mark. So we can always fill till here to know the exact volume which we are adding. Otherwise, we don't fill it. Or if we fill it, we don't know the measurement. So we need to fill it to 1 point only. So C is the correct answer. Now MCQ number 39. The chromatogram shows produce using a spot of black ink placed at point X. The spot M is produced by a blue dye in the ink. Okay. What is the RF value? So if you see, it travels from 2 to 8. So 8. So it means it travels a distance of 6. And if you look at the distance traveled by the solvent, so it moves from 2 to 16, which is 14. So 6 divided by 14. Can anyone tell me the answer?
Almost
0.43.
0.43.
43.
0.43. So it's D. It means A, B. Is it 0.43? Okay. See, we did a one mistake. If you see, this is the baseline. Sorry, my bad. This is the baseline. So we always take the measurement, not that is the solvent level from the baseline. So it is from this point and from this point. So it's 4 to 8, so which means 4, and 4 to 16, which means 12. So it's 4 over 12.
0.33.
0.33. So yeah, D goes wrong. Okay, so C is the correct answer. So be vigilant when you are recording, measuring from this. You don't need to start from solvent level. You have to start from baseline. Okay. Now, MCQ number 40. The table shows the result of a series of a test with 2 substances X and Y. Okay. Dilute nitric acid, no reaction. No reaction. So it means with the acid we, okay. Okay, so not a metal. Obviously, it's a compound. If it's a metal, we get a hydrogen gas. White precipitate and no precipitate. So white precipitate with silver nitrate, it means it's a chloride. Okay. Aqueous sodium hydroxide, white precipitate insoluble in excess. So it means it can be aluminium or zinc. No precipitate. No gas produced. Ammonia is produced. Aluminium foil warm gentle. So it means by adding aluminium foil, sodium hydroxide, aluminium foil, so it means it's a nitrate over here. Flame test. Orange red flame. So orange red flame is a calcium, right? And yellow flame is a sodium. So calcium and chlorides. Okay, bromide makes it wrong. Then nitrate and sodium. So over iodide makes it wrong, lithium makes it wrong. So we are left with only option which is D. So D is the correct answer. Till here, is this understandable to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Any confusions? Yes, Nabiha, Yusra, and Abdullah.
No, sir.